This thing randomly comes on. So turn it. Oh wait, it was already off? And that's the wind. Oh no, wait, that is off. Oh my god. Hi guys. So Camp NaNoWriMo is coming up in April. I did go ahead and decide that I do want to participate this year, but I'm definitely going to participate with a far, far lower goal. I'm thinking I'm probably going to set the goal for 20,000 actually, which is significantly less. It's even less than half. However, April is a big month for me. I will be working full-time for the first full month. My training was kind of cut into by coronavirus and all of the shenanigans with that. Coronavirus is still here, but it's calming down a little bit. So some businesses, including mine, have decided to open doors, and I will also be moving at the very beginning of April. So it's going to be a lot. The very first week of April, I'll be moving into my permanent place. That will be mine. I'm really excited about it, but also it's a lot. So April's going to be very, very packed. So I'm going to definitely crank the word count down significantly. Now, because of my work hours and my shift, I will actually have time in the morning to do writing before work. And I might not take advantage of it every single day of the week, so I might have like larger sprints to do on the weekends, but I will do some writing every once in a while for sure during the month of April. Mostly because I'm definitely gonna have moments where I need that feeling of completion, because some of the paperwork I'm gonna have to be doing here in Japan to correct my address change is just kind of frustrating to do. It doesn't feel like I got stuff done. It's a lot of back and forth, especially with me and my company about certain things, and it's just really frustrating because it never feels like things get done very efficiently. So the thing about NaNoWriMo though is if I set a word count goal for myself during a sprint, I can complete it. I know that sounds so sad, but I know during April there are going to be moments where I just need to complete something so I can feel that joy of something being done. And so I do feel like having a really gentle word count that I can very easily reach during a month. Because the thing about my suffering with writing is it's not really suffering. It's really honestly not that bad. I think some of my friends, when they see my videos and see me like stressed about writing, they feel like I'm honestly stressed, and not really. Like, the thing is, it's a known factor. It's like if I have a character that I'm struggling with, the arc, all I need to do is just really sit down and brainstorm a bunch and maybe take a couple walks and get some fresh air. And the worst it's gonna get is I might get frustrated and need to switch writing projects. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, the worst that's gonna happen is I'm gonna have to pause that project and switch to something else for a bit. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I complain about it. I feel most writers complain about it, but it's really not nearly as dramatic as we make it out to be. So I feel like on a scale of stress levels, it's far more stressful for me to have to go to my bank, which has no English speaking staff, and try to figure out how to fill out a form all in kanji about changing my address. That's, to me, is far more stressful than any writing could ever be. So it's kind of a perspective thing. Honestly, NaNoWriMo, it can be stressful, depending on how you do it. But I'm not going to be doing the more stressful version of it. I'm not going to be pushing my limits that hard. I'm going to be seeing if I can do some kind of writing routine while full-time employed in Japan. That's the test and challenge for April, while moving at the same time. But I'm not going to push the absolute limit. It is going to be a pretty easy to obtain number, at least for me. 20,000 is pretty easy to get to. So it's going to be within my means to do, and it's not something I'm going to super stress about. Like, I'm already in my head thinking if I weren't going to complete it, that would be okay. Like, I'd be okay with that, honestly, because the point is just to do some amount of writing during April, so I have something I could use for grounding, because I'm going to get overwhelmed a lot. But it's more the journey than the destination for me in this particular case. I still need to figure out what my project's gonna be, because I haven't figured that out yet. I decided to do some brainstorming last night, and I wrote down my different projects that I could possibly do during NaNoWriMo this year, and I wrote some pros and cons for them. Now, the most obvious project I can do is completing Project Clock Strikes, which is pretty much a more first draft. It went from 0 draft, which was really, really skeletal, to a more robust actual first draft. And I'm almost done with that first draft, and that was NaNoWriMo in November last year. I'm on the last couple bits. I probably only have 3 to 4 chapters max. The only thing is, it's jumping back into that same project perhaps a bit soon. I was struggling with my character's emotions that were going on, because as I found out through some meditation I was doing at around the same time last year, I had some emotional blocks for me personally in my personal life, and it was actually affecting my main character in my story, because I wasn't allowing my main character to feel certain things fully, because I didn't allow myself to feel those kind of emotions either. So pretty much my writing was calling me out on being like, hey, could you not be self-destructive emotionally? Thanks. One of the projects I can pick up again that does give me a ton of freedom are returning to my fantasy short stories collection, which is something I did last Camp NaNoWriMo. So that one, they're short stories. So if I start getting bored, or I lose inspiration, or I just want or am inspired by to do a different story, I could just stop whatever I'm doing, jump to a new chapter, which is a new story, and start a brand new short story. I don't have to be chained to one particular project. I mean, I am and I'm not, because they all have similar themes and tonalities, and you could even say they're all in the same world. I don't really specify that part. You could. So they all have a similar mood. There's definitely a mood they all have to fit into, but it's a broad enough one, and it's a genre I enjoy writing, so I've got a lot more freedom. And I won't finish or run out of time for that one. Like that one, I can do as many or as few short stories as I want. The only problem is this creates far more projects that I later have to edit. Like, I already have an overwhelming amount of short stories that need editing. Some of them are further in editing. I think I have a few that are on editing phase 3 or 4, which is great. So they're getting close to just needing to be submitted for publishing to literary journals. But it's creating a lot of work, to be perfectly honest. So I'm not sure if I want to do something like that, because right now my soul wants to finish projects that are already started versus creating more new work at this moment, unless it's a collaboration work with somebody else. Another choice is one of my projects that is in progress that I do want to work on sometime this year, and that's Project Grimm. I am about 1/3 through the 0 draft for that, so I've got a lot to do. The major problem with that one is I have 0 outlining, which I have mixed feelings on outlining that I'm going to go over later, but probably in another video I've got a lot to say about outlining and my thoughts on that. But I need at least some kind of basic structure for how I want this book to go, because it's one of my few books, and by few actually, it is my only book currently that is set to be a series. So I feel like I need so much more preparation for that one, and I've got none of that ready, and I really don't have the time to be doing that. So I feel like this is not the time for Project Grimm right now, but I do want to address this project at some point this year. Just, I don't think now is the time. So maybe this is something that I can prep for either the next Camp NaNoWriMo or the next full NaNoWriMo in November. Another option is, of course, a completely new project, but this runs into the exact same problem as the fantasy short stories. I'm creating more work that just needs to be edited, and I'm not really completing anything that's already started, and I really want to complete something. So I did a lot of thinking about that this morning. All of these notes I wrote down, I had far more pros and cons. I won't go over all of them, but as exciting as new projects are, like there's that feeling of excitement of something brand new and a fresh new page, I just really don't feel like that's what I need to be doing right now. So even though it is constrictive, I feel like I should do Project Clock Strikes. I feel like I should do that one. I think I will do that one. Did I just decide that? This is why I kind of like doing these videos, because sometimes when I'm talking to the camera, or just talking in general, as I'm saying words, my brain just starts clicking things into place of, yeah, that's the thing you really want to do right now. So I think we'll do that. I think I'm gonna do Project Clock Strikes. I'm gonna go ahead and complete that novel. It's so close to being done. I think I just want to get it finished. Then that will be a complete first draft for that story, and it can begin the editing process at a later date. So I think that's what I've got to do. So because I'm going to be so busy in April moving, especially that first week, I do need over the next week or so to do a little bit of pre-filming. So at some point I'm going to be doing that. I believe I will have some bullet journal stuff for NaNoWriMo, hopefully, and also get some... We'll talk about the outlining thing. And also plot beats. Plot beats. I have thoughts on those too. So, if you're a pantser or a plotter, get ready for that. Oh God. But yeah, let me know if you guys are participating in NaNoWriMo this year. I already have one viewer I was talking to that she is going to be going after a huge goal. I think she said 70,000 words, which is phenomenally cool. And I really hope she makes it. That sounds amazing. But it's a lot of work. So we were kind of talking about write-ins. Honestly, I don't know if I can do any write-ins myself. I don't know if anyone would show up. My time zone is very weird, so I don't know if that's useful. But if you guys are in weird time zones and you would be interested in that, please let me know in the comments below, and we'll see. It does depend on my internet at my new place. We'll have to see how good the internet at my new place is. But could be interesting. Rude. Whenever you're done. You done? Cool. Laundry's done.